Alright, so we're back here for our next how-to video.
You want the sun in my eyes?
It's better than being in my eyes. Alright, so what is the name of the trick, or what is the trick we're doing today?
Well, I don't know. Well, it's a 180 into a rollback into a reverse slide.
Power drag. Call it a power drag.
You got me so worried about doing everything just right. I'm like, so it's gonna be a 180 rollback into a front wheel slide.
Okay, cool. We're doing it on the S&M today.
Yep, still riding my S&M ATF.
20 incher.
20 inch. Looks great. I mean, looks great. Yeah, of course it looks great, but I mean, I just love to see welds.
Yeah.
Really nice TIG welds like that. No paint covering them up.
Yeah.
And you see the burn marks and stuff. I love that.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm running Odyssey Forks.
So before we get into it, just want to show them real quick the t-shirt. Got our t-shirts in. We're getting them up on the site.
Whoops, that's
He's got his
last
breakfast.
night dinner's like still here.
Yeah, this is the look back tee.
Well,
let me show them the back real quick.
Basically it.
Yeah, so we're just waiting on like our shipping supplies and packaging to get in, and these will be up on the site. Oh yeah, we've been talking with Mike Buff and Todd Lyons, and they're gonna be hooking us up with some fat rippers.
Yeah, I'm getting a Mike Buff fat ripper. That's the word on the street anyways. And Dylan's getting a fat quad. Patrick's getting a fat quad. Todd's been real cool about it. And it's funny because I used to sponsor Todd when he was racing, doing backflips in the middle of his race. And he's still a nut, man. He sent me all these videos of him riding. He tries some pretty gnarly jumps on those fat bikes. Okay, so there's gonna be two ways into this. The main part of this is going to be the rolling backwards. Now, if you're a beginner or intermediate, you may not want to learn this just because you think it's really hard. It's not any harder than anything else. It's just a matter of getting on your bike and learning to ride backwards, which would be like this right here has a slight down slope, so I'm going downhill. All you have to do to start out is just learn to move your front wheel. Drag your feet, move your front wheel, and this is the ticket. Your brain doesn't understand the backwards, everything is backwards kind of thing. But if you just start moving your bars, I mean randomly move your bars, your brain will go, oh, okay, I get it. It's like driving a forklift where the wheels are turning in the back. Your brain just picks up on it after a while, but you got to turn a little bit so it can adjust. Anyways, go down a hill, just slowly lift your feet, learn how to move, and then you can do it on your pegs if you want. I like to do it on my pedals, but a free coaster is a big advantage. But that's a super old trick, man, way back when I was riding with Bob Harrow and Ronnie Welton, with Bob Harrow in fact. And it's a really good move because it goes into so many things.
Yeah.
It'll combo you into so many things. There's two ways to get into it. When you're learning, if you're just beginning, come in. I'm gonna do this again, it's just like the rock walk. This is straight. We're gonna come in, I don't know how many degrees that is, but it's like half of 90. Half of a 90, so let's say 45 degrees.
Okay.
Then you come in, do your 180. This part is critical. Push your back end down, okay? Get used to pushing your back end down. It's like you're telling your bike, I'm going straight. If you come in all weird and everything and you don't have that back momentum, you're gonna go about 2 inches. So, this is one way on the brakes. Push back. Another way into it is no brakes, which I like to do because you kind of lift up and you get a little roll. You know, I always keep my fingers on my brakes in case I go over like into a G turn or something. And once you start rolling backwards, I lock my legs against my seat so that my feet don't move, so that my pedals don't catch and start rolling backwards. By locking your feet, it's hard to do because both knees on the inside will be locked against my seat. It keeps the bike from being like this. It just stables it up, and I lean back. When you lean back, it just makes it easier to steer.
Very cool.
And you just kind of move like this. And then when you're coming out of it, you're rolling backwards, you're on your pedals or on your pegs, whatever you want to do. You start your roll, you're going to roll out of it, you know, like you'd turn your wheel, hit your brakes, and go out on a normal thing. But what we're going to do today is you're going to go like this. Right when you start to roll, flip your front end sideways so that it slides. And yeah, you'll wear your tires out, but man, there's something that feels really good about that slide. It's a little bit of street riding in there, kind of. And then when you're sliding, if you're starting to fall over, like in, turn your wheel more, it'll slide less, get you out of it, hit your brakes, and pop out. So if you're falling in, turn into it. If you're falling that way, turn out. And when you turn out, this will slow down, this will drag your slide a lot farther. So controlling your slide, you're here, here, or here. Like this, you get the longest slide. And you work it out. You'll figure it out as you go backwards.
Are you using any brakes while you slide, or is it no brakes?
No, no brakes.
Okay.
Pete Augustine used to lock up his brakes back on the pegs and go straight back like this.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can do that. I don't even... Yeah, you can do it on your pegs.
Wow.
Whoops. Actually, it makes the front end really light doing it on your pegs. Okay, this is going to be beginners, intermediate, or you're just new to rolling backwards. Remember, this is our straight line. We want our back end to kind of go boom and set it, push it that way. You know what I mean? You just, Bob Harrow and Ronnie Welton were masters of this. They set their back end down. It's not like they crank in and slam their back wheel. They set it down. So you can come in a little bit of an angle like this, hit your brakes, get your 180 just like in a rock walk, but push that bike down and let go of your front brakes. Now you're rolling backwards, moving your handlebars to feel the steering out. You start to come out like this, and right when you know you're moving out, boom, pop into your slide and lean back. You roll out. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to cheat, come in a little bit, push that thing down, and you slide. So this is the little easier one. You're coming in, here's straight 180, I'm coming in at like a 45. Push that back end down, get your slide. Come in at a little bit, 45. Push the back end down, turn out, start your slide. I'm not doing a complete 180, starting at an angle. Look at my legs are pinched on the seat, my hands are stiff. Okay, so this is the one, it's a little more difficult. And it's kind of, both entries into the rollback are the same as a rock walk. So once you get it where you don't need your front brakes, it just, I don't know, something about the trick looks really good. So you would turn into it, lift up the back wheel. I even start, I don't know why I do this, but I come in at a little bit of an angle, so I'm doing more of a 180, crank my front wheel. You're gonna feel it roll a little bit. It's okay. I ride with my fingers like this, 2 fingers on each brake in case I start to go forward or backward. And so you're gonna come in, you kind of come in preload, twist, slam that back end down, and then we're at the same thing where you're rolling backwards, moving your handlebars, legs are pinched against the seat. You're just moving it, and as soon as you start to come out, like you're gonna roll out, you start moving, flip your tire real quick, and it'll start a slide. And then you're out. But you got to If you're over like this steering it, it's gonna feel weird. You're gonna be like really quick, and you know, you could do nose wheelies backwards if you want out of this. You can do all kinds of stuff, but lean back. It lightens your front wheel so you can get a longer slide. Start sliding, and then when you go into your slide, if you're like starting to fall in and you want to save it, crank your wheel. It'll stop sliding and wind you out of it. It'll roll you out of it. You see that hawk?
Got a hawk just came in. Landed right here for us. That's
cool.
Wild.
There was a new one in there. You see that?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I kind of like preloaded. So I'm coming in like this, and I turn out and then in.
You okay?
Yeah. So I was covering my brakes, but my brain doesn't work fast enough to go, hey, hit your brakes, you're gonna crash.
I'm gonna try and get this side of it.
I'm gonna do the preload. This is the preload where you're coming in, kind of preload your body and then set it down and lean back. That was another one right there. When I was rolling backwards, I'm even off my seat, look.
Yeah, you're way back there.
I mean, I do that. This right here is a secret to 90% of the tricks. Is when you start out, your balance point, your rolling back point is really small. But as you believe you can make the trick, you start learning, moving your body, getting your leg over here, moving it out, unweighting your shoulders, whatever. You learn all these ways to save it so you become more consistent. It's really important when you're doing this stuff to, like when you're rolling backwards, just move your handlebars. Don't think about which way they have to go, just move them, okay? And your brain will understand what you're trying to do. It just happens that way, I don't know why. It's almost like you're doing a cross-up, tabletop. Preload, bang, sit that.
Run it off.
You ready? Preload, set it. So I just thought of something, can I mention it? Yeah. So as I'm sliding, I'm moving my front wheel back and forth to guide my slide. Make it longer, shorter, this is longer, this is shorter, this is in the middle. We were doing this with Dylan. He was doing a 180 and trying to roll back. He could only go like 3 feet and he would just fall over. And when he'd roll back, he was kind of frozen, you know, wasn't sure what to do. So he was doing this for a couple weeks and we were talking about it. We talk about this stuff all the time. And I said, hey, just move your bars, man. Just move them. I don't care which way, just move them. You know, I know that's going to come into play eventually, so you might as well do it now. And so he did. He just started moving his bars. About the third time, he was going 5 and 10 feet. And his brain, and now he's getting even farther. Well, not since he broke his ribs. He's on vacation right now. Yeah, but
it definitely helped. It's like it gives you a bigger balancing point almost, because it's like you're catching yourself before you fall. It's almost like when you do like those little hops to re-get your balance.
Right.
You know, it's like
that's a good point.
It rebalances you almost and recenters everything for you. That's what I felt like, at least.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
All right, guys, so I guess that wraps up the 180 power drag, or at least that's what we're calling it. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy watching, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Anything else you want to say to them before we go?
Just don't get freaked by the trick. Don't tell yourself you can't do that trick until you go out and try it. Everything is learnable. Just open your mind a little bit, take your time, and you can learn anything.
Cool. All right, we'll see you guys later.